how does a system of systems or a tool like Knapsack that allows that to happen, that becomes a platform, provide the grease in the machine, if you will, the lubrication in the machine for transformation? Because all of us know for sure at this stage in our lives that transformation is not a one and done thing. It's never ending. You're never done. You're always moving towards your destination, but never at your destination. How does a tool like Knapsack, a system of systems, provide the underlying tool set or stack set that allows me to do that? And I'd love you to get really specific. What is the ideal stack for those EDP teams? And when I mean ideal, I mean like dream state. What does that look like?
Yeah.
And then how does that provide confidence to the teams and their leaders that they can actually move closer to that destination and not further away from it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the destination, not the journey, right? No, it's not. It's the journey, right? You've got to get so many teams we speak with are so aspirational, and it's great, whether it's about a big super app initiative or it's about the architecture they want. They're reinvesting in their design system. Oh, there's my camera. There's a lot of legacy stuff in there, right? And they're looking to modernize, and they got all these grand visions that sound really awesome when we deliver it. But then they've also got a lot of work going on in the product org, right? And no one's screeching everything to a halt and say, all right, let's get it perfect now that we learned everything from 20, 30 years of doing this, and let's spin it up again, right? So, when we speak with teams that are either, whether it's a tool idea or a project idea, or looking very, very aspirational, and here's what we want to get to, we're always saying, great, where are you now? And how are we going to manage that change, right? And so to your point, regardless of the scope and scale of the initiative, what we see teams need to just do digital production at scale effectively now, which is ultimately what we're talking about here, is these sort of modern integrated tools. And so it's yes, you need documentation. You do need that aspirational. Here's how it's supposed to look and work, and here's the brand guide that's connected to that, right? But that also, where possible, you need to create these dynamic connections that mean it's impossible for the brand guide and the token documentation and your style documentation and how it's implemented as a style in Figma and in code and web and mobile. It's like really, really hard for those things to be disconnected, right? That's not that hard to achieve technologically, but it means that we need to think about those comprehensively. We can't just say, well, we have our brand docs and our design system docs, everyone should be implementing it. I'm like, well, that's all aspirational, right? How do we connect that to
that's like raising kids and saying, hey, just because I said so, they should listen to me.
Correct, right? It doesn't work with my toddlers. It doesn't work with adults that are really good at their job. That it's like, and also a lot of these solve problems. They're just not connected, right? And so your documentation, your brand style guide, the way you manage tokens, the way these things turn into like ultimately usable code. The engineers have ways that they're then turning them into CSS and shipping it out and putting it in your website, right? But if the brand guide is just a spec thrown over the fence, there's an opportunity for disconnect, right? So docs, branding and styling and theming, like we talked about, but also on the engineering side, how are we building these components? How are we giving the dev team ways to do things really, really quickly and see their work really quickly without laborious engineering workflows? How do we turn that into code everyone can interact with? So we can create those feedback loops really early, not just, there's a code library. You'll see it in a QA environment when the product's built. The way we integrate testing, right? It would be really poor if what we designed and what we built and what shipped the product, didn't align perfectly and seamlessly with the thing going through accessibility testing, especially if you're a highly regulated industry, right? And then so tying these things all together, giving people a way to have a shared language and understanding, get hands-on, your prototype with code if that's right for you, or just be able to know when you annotate what's coming out of Figma, what you're saying is new versus existing, because you can, hey, I can make this thing, or nope, we should change this thing because I can't do what I need, right? A much more intentional conversation. And so, rooting it all in the things that are going out to your users, so we know what users see if we shipped what we had, so that you can be intentional about the change you need to make, whether that's now or in the future, right? And so these tools, we often get approached as, hey, this is a design system that we're talking about. We need better docs. But in our mind, this is just for modern production at scale. You got to have all these capabilities and they got to be tied together so that whatever your roadmap you're trying to lay out, whether you're launching a new product, a new brand, or doing whatever you're doing, you can do it effectively without just a ton of inefficiency and waste that I know we've all run into a lot in the last 20 years, right? We've all sat through a lot of painful meetings while trying to get some product out the door.